So key features of quadratic function. So you'll need this for a lot of questions on your test. So this is basically what we're going to do. We're going to go over some big key parts of how to identify certain key features of a quadratic function. So first, I'm just going to create one already here. I'm going to try to make it as best as I possibly can. Try to make it as nice and precise as possible. So that way we know exactly what we're looking at. So I'm going to come down here. Come down this way. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about some key features. So the biggest key feature that we want to talk about is this single point down here, also known as the vertex, the turning point. Okay, so where it turns, so that's your turning point. For this particular one, they also call it, because that's the lowest value of this quadratic, we also can call it the minimum. With this vertex, we actually have an imaginary line that can cross it like right down the middle, so it can split these quadratic pieces up. And what we want to call that one, going down the middle real quick, that is going to be called our axis of symmetry. So in other words, this dashed line that splits it down the middle is going to be called our axis of symmetry. And then again, that's pretty much what it's doing, is basically cutting this quadratic down the middle through the vertex, through the turning point, through the minimum, through this single part here, and to split up into two equal parts on both sides. It's basically splitting in half. Now we have here on these other key parts are these two little sections here. These can also be considered both of these at the same time. I'm going to write it both times. They can be called your x-intercepts. X-intercepts. Your zero. They can also be called solutions. Sometimes they can be even called factors. So in other words, all this is basically the same thing. So this is my other x-intercept. So I happen to have 2 for this one. 0 or zeros, solution, and again the other one, factors. Okay, so that's basically what we have here. Now the other part is, when we're identifying these key parts, we also want to have a coordinate with it. So if you take a look at the vertex point, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So that means my vertex point for this one would be at a 4, -2. My axis symmetry, how to write that equation, if you notice, it goes right through this vertex point, and the equation for this one would be x equals whatever this x coordinate is of my vertex. So x equals 4 in our case. And if you look, it crosses right on that 4 line. So 1, 2, 3, 4 makes that line right on 4, and our equation for it is x equals 4. My intercepts, my x-intercept, 0, solutions, and factors. So that's 0 again. If you take a look, it crosses at these 2 points at 1, 2, 3, and then at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3 and 5. So this one would be 5, 0, and this one over here would be 3, 0 for their x-intercept, zeros, factors, and solutions. So that's pretty much all the big key parts of our quadratic function. So make sure you guys understand these little concepts here, and let me know if you have any questions.